The New Zealand Gaming Championships League of Legends Premiership is presented by Let's Play Live, Australasia's new home of esports at Letsplay.live. Logitech G, bringing you winning gaming devices. Mice, keyboards, headsets and controllers. Game with passion, win with science. Logitech G. Twitch, the world's leading social video platform and community for gamers. Twitch.tv. The NZGC is powered by Playtech. Technology at play. Playtech is the #1 custom PC system builder in New Zealand. Visit playtech.co.nz. Players stay at Adina Apartment Hotel at Britomart, Auckland. Book today at adinahotels.com. Adina, official accommodation of the NZGC.
And of course, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm really glad we had a moment there because I needed to take a breather after that nail-biting finish. DNA were able to pull it through. Well done to them, evening up the series. And now as we come into our third match where either team could take away the 3 points, we'll take a look again at the head-to-head because I feel like there is a lot more to say about it now.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the rosters once again. It's going to be DNA versus 2Easy. We're in the third match. Either team could take out the victory here for the 3 points. 4 points is off the table. But for DNA, in the top lane, you've got Sheldor. Jungle is 021. Mid lane, Arc. And in the bottom lane, AD carry and support is Neff and I'm Tilted.
And coming up against them is, of course, going to be 2Easy. The first thing I actually want to talk about is that top lane for them because Sheldor turned it around. But Jack Attack in that top lane came out with the early lead. I'd like to see him snowball that, but of course in the jungle, Rin Toyama, RKL up in the top lane, and in the bottom lane, AD carry, Blinky and support Cupcake as the dynamic duo. They often seem to be the crux of these 2Easy teams.
Well, everyone, let's waste no time. Let's get into the pick ban as soon as we possibly can.
I can't wait.
I can't wait, honestly. DNA, 2Easy looked like they could have held at the end of that game, and, well, I was about to lose it.
Yeah.
But honestly,
it really looked like it.
It looked like it, but DNA deserved that win. They executed their win condition. They're ready for Game 3. We're ready for Game 3. Hopefully 2Easy are ready for Game 3. I'm sure they are. They've got to be reeling after that loss, after that close hold. They know what they can do to win, because they did it in Game 1. I'd like to see it happen again. Are we going to see Blinky play a similar champion once again? Because now DNA know they don't need to ban it.
Yeah, it worked once, it didn't work a second time, and like you said, they might not actually have to ban it. They were confident enough to not ban it in that last game, and it did work out. So DNA, they've got plans, right? They've got ways they can take it to 2Easy. We're going to see what those plans are in this Champion Select. After such a tight game last game, and let's not make any mistakes here, an equally tight game for the first game, I'm really excited to see what they ban out. Is, of course, going to be Sona taken away from I'm Tilting. 2Easy. They can't just go for, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because last game, it broke. They have to change their bans.
There it goes. The Jin is off the table now for Nephthys. I said this in Game 2, even during Champions League, a big reason that 2Easy lose their fights is Curtain Call. Taking that off the table and maybe even putting Nephthys on a less comfortable champion may mean we could see what Blinky did in Game 1. Blinky and Cupcake, sorry. They're a team and they honestly deserve the praise, both of them. Blinky and Cupcake could do the same thing in Game 1 and completely dominate that bot lane.
Yeah, this time they've continued to ban out the Nidalee against 021, and that has left the Gangplank open for Sheldor. I feel like 2Easy are going to have to first pick that one away, right? Because they've prioritized banning it for so long, they know they don't want to face it, and the only way to avoid that is to pick it themselves. DNA, one ban left though, only a few seconds left on that. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? It's going to be Trundle, and that is a really smart call, because now both Sheldor and Jack Attack have actually taken that Trundle, and what I think that is it either forces the Gangplank pick with Trundle not there for Jack Attack, or this is a little bit different. They've not even gone for the Gangplank.
No, they're going to go for the comfortable pick, at least for Rin Toyama once again. Going to hold on to that champion. 021, we've seen him play a ton of different junglers. Still, we're not going to see his famous Nidalee, unfortunately, but they may end up picking it up quite early. It could be a Graves once again. We may see Rek'Sai, because that's not been banned this time.
Yeah, also
and
on the
again,
table.
Just a top-tier champion that a lot of competitive teams really prioritize picking just because of the ganking paths before level 6. I like the Lissandra pickup because it allows them to have the same things and almost scares Blinky away from playing a vulnerable AD carry.
Yeah, and it ended up being that Blinky had to stay so far away from fights he couldn't even get in them. I'm wondering if Sheldor is going to pick that Gangplank, right? So Jack Attack not taking it away makes me think Too Easy do actually have a plan for it. They know they needed to ban out Jin, and they've gone, okay, we'll deal with it in a different way, even though that Trundle's off the board. So, Sheldor, and it's going to be Caitlyn. They want to take that one away from Blinky. That's an interesting pick. Nephtheus, without that Jin, goes for the other big range Siege champion. So, what does that really leave Blinky? Sivir is on the table, but do you really want to pick that one up here with that Lysandra right there?
I want to see them completely flip things up and take Lucian Braum. Blinky's...
I want to see them completely flip things up and take Draven.
Draven, that'd be great to see. I think Blinky would play a great Draven.
Oh,
but
yeah, for sure.
Honestly, competitively,
not the right time,
competitively wise, probably should go for something a little bit more viable right now. Lucian is, there it goes, locked in
and
with the
Braum. Always bring Braum when you have a Lucian. The synergy between those two is just fantastic.
Yeah, of course, the passive coming out from, from Lucian is going to allow him to just proc those passives so often. But it's going into a Caitlyn who traditionally has a massive range advantage and, in a way, counters the laner.
The funny thing is, right, I'm tilting last game on that Soraka was able to keep Nephtheus topped up in terms of health. So even if the bottom lane goes aggressive out of Blinky and Cupcake trying to proc those stuns, provided the DNA bot line doesn't die straight away, they can just top themselves back up, and eventually Too Easy will run out of resources. I also want to touch on the Lysandra and Lucian, because the Lucian does need to get in a lot closer. He needs to sort of duck and weave in those team fights. First of all, you get in close, Lysandra stuns you up. Second of all, you can't duck and weave if he's stunned.
Exactly, and hovering over a few different junglers there.
Do it, go on. Beware the depths.
Hey,
they go for it. 0-2-1, he didn't want the Rek'Sai at all. Actually, I was going to say that does leave it up for Rin Toyama, but no, he's already got that Elise, so that's a ton of crowd control brought to the table. That is the exact same thing I was just saying about Lysandra onto that Lucian, right? Now, much like last game, if it isn't Lysandra stunning up the Lucian, it's going to be Nautilus, which frees up Lysandra to deal with someone else. We saw that last game. Lysandra didn't even have to deal with Blinky a lot of the time. He could just go ahead and deal with either Rin Toyama or Archael, depending on who 0-2-1 was able to deal with. And it's a similar situation, only instead of damage, now it's crowd control from 0-2-1.
And it's another just point-and-click stun. It's not going to come out as fast as the Frozen Tomb, but
Nautilus not known for his speed.
It's a little bit slower, but it definitely always gets there. Also, recently being buffed so that it stuns more targets along its path.
Crucially.
And the way that they're playing, because the Lucian is coming out now, that's a shorter range AD carry, they're going to play a lot more grouped up. We're going to see the last two picks come out for Too Easy, and then Maokai and the Victor.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead. The Victor again into the Lysandra matchup. Bit of a hover over Kled for a moment. I like the Maokai here. It is a very smart pickup, I would say. Depending on what Sheldor... Oh, they're going to go for the gangplank. It made it through the whole... Yeah, all right. And maybe Maokai is actually their answer to the gangplank, right? At the very least, I like Maokai from a team perspective. I kind of wonder how the lane matchup goes. I can't wait till we have Kozi here, right? Because I know he's going to have a lot to say about that.
Raven has a lot of opinions on the top lane. I'd love to hear that as well. One thing that I think is going to come out of it, though, is Jack Attack playing on one of his most traditional style champions, just a flat tank, who doesn't do a huge amount of damage, brings a lot of control, and most importantly, doesn't die. For a time, actually, he called himself Potato Tank only. In fact, in the qualifiers, that's what he was playing under, because he's known for playing those so-called potato tanks that just kind of sit there. They are beefy. A beefy potato, I don't know. They are just, stodged full of health bars, and you just point and click, make stuns happen. We're going to come back though and break this down a little bit further after a few words from our sponsors.
The NZGC is brought to you by our incredible technology and media partners.
And once again, we are back here with King 5 top laner Raven to help us break down that Champions League. You actually just told us you have a lot of opinions about it. Let's hear them.
So the pick ban was very, very good for both teams. They let Sheldor get his gangplank into a tank, which allows him to scale into late game a lot better. It's going to be a really, really dynamic game. You're going to have a really strong early game from Too Easy, but DNA is going to bring out a really long, drawn-out game. They picked Lysandra again with lots of catch potential, Lucian being a low-range AD carry, but then there's the Braum pickup to counter the Initiate from the Frozen Glacial Path. You have a really big front line to like facilitate the Caitlyn to allow the gangplank to get the barrels in, keep Soraka alive. You have a really, really strong team fight from DNA, but 2EZ has a lot of mid-game pressure. They have 3 beefy tanks, early spiking Lucians with Victor with his power spikes early on.
So there's a lot of potential strengths here from both. You really got it all out. Those are all the opinions. I kind of want to highlight something I touched on in the Champions Select, though, and that's Lysandra with the Nautilus. And we touched on how last game they were able to allow Arc to deal with someone other than Blinky, purely because there was so much damage from the Elise. And this time it's going to happen with crowd control. Is that something they expressly need to play around, though? Or are they just taking this for tools?
So it's basically impossible to get away from a Nautilus ult and then Lysandra path into a Gangplank ult. So if they ever get a pick, they're going to get the kill, and it's going to be really, really solid. So
pick comp may be the ideal way for DNA to play here?
Yep.
How do you think the Gangplank matchup actually comes? Obviously, the matchup is going to be interesting in the top lane, but once level 6 rolls around, how important is that to the other lanes?
So the Gangplank ult basically allows mid lane pressure. With a Gangplank ult and Lysandra, it's easy kills. Bot lane, you can get force peel off towers, get the tower poke down. And the only real lane you can pressure with a Gangplank ult up is the Gangplank lane. And they actually have a pretty good team coming to do that with the Elise Maokai. So they can just easily dive the Gangplank and counteract that pressure.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked about the strength of 2EZ's pick comp and spoke to that as kind of a big part of their win condition. There is also a lot of teamfight strength out of them, but on the flip side of that, what is the hard and fast win condition of 2EZ, and how can they execute that against DNA's pick?
So 2EZ's win condition is the fact that they have a lot of early mid-game pressure. They want to snowball that to a gold lead, which makes their tanks unkillable, so that even if DNA dives in, they can't get past the front line without getting punished.
All right, I want to touch on something else as well. And we talked about this last game, Arc against Archael here, the Lysandra against the Victor. You felt it was unfavorable for the Victor, but Archael went ahead and picked that into the Lysandra anyway. Do they maybe have a bit of a different plan for how they're going to play that? Because Archael really struggled in that lane last game.
I think the reason it struggled so much is because he roamed us a lot early game, so he gave up some lane advantage for map advantage. But even then, it's just he can set up the jungler so easily that it doesn't actually matter how well they are matched skill-wise, or how well the matchup is. As long as the jungler shows up, Lysandra can force a kill onto Victor.
I also touched on something else in Champions Select that I want to throw to you. The Lucian and Braum can bring a lot of kill pressure, but if DNA get out of it, they can top themselves up with a Soraka. Is it actually possible for a kill to come out before the Soraka is able to escape, or is that just not even an option?
It's actually very likely that would happen, because Braum can stick onto a slow onto Soraka, then the stun comes in, Lucian can chase them down. Caitlyn can't really peel as well for this Soraka, so
there you have it, all on the table there. A lot of pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses from both teams as they come into our last game here. Thank you so much for joining us to help break that down, Raven. We're going to take a look at this game as DNA and 2EZ hit the rift for the third time and final time tonight.
And DNA doing their classic move as a 5-man unit. See if they're able to pick up a cheesy kill. Maybe they watched the last game and noticed that if they stuck around for a few seconds longer, they could have got a free kill. But in any case, they're still, once again, if they get spotted though, they've got to remember that this shows where their entire team is. Now Cupcake not quite able to get the vision down just yet, actually holding on to that ward. Really crucial the way both teams have been playing, messing around with those jungle camps. Need to hold on to that for then, and really just using his own personal vision. Now he's not spotting this out, the vision's not there.
They're staying in the fog of war. This is so cheeky by DNA. Now they're just biding their time. The ward was down there defensively by Blinky, so DNA can't quite go into that bush and get away with it. So they're just going to back away. They didn't find anyone going for deep vision in their own jungle, and I think that's actually what they plan to do with that is they sit in one space, they wait for 2EZ to go, all right, let's get some deep vision, and then they rotate around and come from behind the 2EZ member that wards.
Now both teams though just playing it completely safely. We're not going to see any shenanigans around the first jungle camp. Honestly, I love the word shenanigans.
I don't blame you. It's a great word.
But key thing to notice is that both duo lanes are going to walk in with a very, very close experience lead to the level 2 spike. But if Blinky gets it, it's so much more important. At level 2, Lucian brings so much more damage to the table, so much more mobility to close the gap with Caitlyn's range. And Soraka doesn't bring a lot apart from the heal. Cupcake already brings a huge amount from Braum straight from level 1. So I feel like they've really got the advantage here.
Also, I'm tilting tanking up the Gromp means he is a little bit low and the kill pressure is certainly there. Blinky and Nepthius both already with that level 2. So potential kill pressure there. Going to have to see how that one plays out. You know, I try and avoid using the word shenanigans because I like it so much. Maybe I'm weird. Like it's a special word, and I just don't want to throw it out willy-nilly, right?
I definitely use it way too much. It's just, it's one of my favorite words as well. But now we're going to see the matchup in the top lane. A lot of wave clear does come out from Maokai very early on. Does suffer a little bit in the mana bar when he does that. As you can see, it's dropping down a little bit further.
Whoa!
A bit of aggression in the bottom lane.
That's the kill pressure.
But it's just going to be healed up.
Yeah, that is like we were saying. That's the kill pressure, but that's also the heal. Nepthius, though, he did blow a bit of mana for that. They weren't really able to trade any blows back because they were too concerned with keeping themselves alive, and it's sort of going to be the way this lane goes for quite a while here for Too Easy.
Now we're going to have to see how the junglers really path into this because, of course, the very interesting pick in the Champions League was the Nautilus in the jungle. Which lane does he gank first? He's got a good position in that mid lane there. Is he standing on top of a ward, though? I don't think so.
No, he's not. So this is totally unseen.
Got to wait for the minion wave.
Archael, this time, he's kind of standing on the right side of the lane.
It's where he's got vision. It's where he's got his own jungler to protect him. Really clever play without having to force out the use of a ward. Able to just use the knowledge of where his team is to keep himself alive. If he does get ganked, though, he's got cleanse, he's got flash, so he's got a lot of tools to get out.
Yeah, he's not going to fall prey to the same mistakes of last game where 0-2-1 was really able to walk all over him. And like Raven said as well, Kale sticking in his lane, he's not going to go for those early roams by the looks of things, and has already been able to eke out a small CS lead. And it's kind of answered by this top lane because Sheldor, he's going to be able to build up a fair lead himself.
Just to move things into the jungle though, smiting the wolf camp, actually keeping vision on 0-2-1. He's going for a blue buff steal. He's got the execute damage, but no smite to take the steal. 0-2-1 should hold this.
Yeah, he does get his own blue buff, very key for him, and it's actually a lot of time spent by Rin Toyama for no gain. He needs to get back into his jungle because despite his slow clear speed, 0-2-1 is ahead and clearing right now.
Of course, both of these junglers bring very, very different things. Rin Toyama brings a lot of damage, whereas 0-2-1, he'll lock up your enemy laners, but you need to bring the damage yourself. A teleport into the top lane from Jack Attack is going to make Niftus and I'm Tilting feel a little bit more comfortable that they're not going to have a tree pop out of nowhere and try and kill them.
Yeah, 0-2-1, he doesn't bring crowd control, he brings crowd totalitarianism. There is just no way you do your own thing when a Nautilus is in the area, and I wouldn't be surprised if he actually starts to try and go for ganks because he is one of the strongest pre-6 gankers. He has 2 bits of crowd control just off even having only level 1.
Talk about pre-6 ganking from Nautilus. Once level 6 rolls around,
oh yeah,
he's got his point and click depth charge, which is going to stun someone no matter what. Like I said before, it takes a while for it to happen, but more importantly...
Oh, good move by Rin Toyama. Sheldon's actually taking a chunk. He's going to be forced to flash away, but they're under the turret, and the teleport was committed here. They actually want to follow it up. I've got in for it. Yeah, he's too low. He took, I think, a laser from RKL while he was channeling that one up. But here's 0-2-1 with the answer. Arc forced to flash out, and again Rin Toyama goes deep. Finally, 0-2-1 gets here, but he's just a Nautilus. He can't go toe-to-toe here. And Too Easy putting one on the board and really abusing Arc's teleport.
Key thing as well, RKL gets free farm in the mid lane. A teleport's being forced out by Sheldor as well, so evening up that teleport advantage. Really huge pickups there for Too Easy, getting the kills where they need to. 2 kills on Rin Toyama. Yeah. He can take that advantage anywhere.
What is it with Elise's this series? Because last game it was 0-2-1 doing that, and we saw he was able to, in fact, burst out Blinky. Now Rin Toyama 2 kills up. He's going to have so much gank pressure because any lane he arrives in, he's going to bring a ton of damage to.
Talking about the top lane as well, of course the junglers just had a massive effect on that, but despite Sheldor and Arc also dying, Sheldor's still sitting up there with a very large CS lead, almost doubling his opponent, which is going to be huge because Gangplank usually suffers a little bit in the early game, trying to get up to that late game stage, because that is where Gangplank is the most powerful.
And again, that was actually something Raven spoke to. Being up against that tank, there's plenty of time for Sheldor to build up and get that pressure, but never mind all that. Rin Toyama notices Arc is trying to pull some shenanigans in the bottom lane.
It's a bit cheeky.
Oh, come on. Arc forced to back away, though, to the mid lane. Not going to be able to exert any pressure down bot. And DNA, they need to start finding moves like that. Only successful if they want to put themselves back on the board here.
That ward's pretty great, though, because, of course, it is going to spot out Rin Toyama, who we
ward,
just saw, 2 kills. He's going to bring a lot of damage anywhere on the map. So you need to, it's even more crucial that you keep tabs on him, because now there's going to be assassination damage as well, because he's been able to recall, pick up very key items, and is just going to be able to sit ahead of 021. Nautilus, not the slowest jungler in the books, but Rin Toyama on Elise is just going to be able to power through those jungle camps.
Jack Attack, start respecting Sheldor now that he's come back to lane with that Sheen, can actually really take it to the Maokai, who does take a bit of time to build up with his damage, and actually went back and got a Dark Seal, so it's not as tanky as maybe he would like to be here. Sheldor, also with that ultimate, can exert some pressure in other lanes. That could be where DNA finds something on the board for themselves.
Rin Toyama looking to bring that 2-kill advantage up here.
They do want to make it happen, holding on to the stun until later. The claims is there, but in this time, here comes the dive in. Sheldor, he's been able to part the way, but the Q is there for Rin Toyama. Despite the cannon barrage, Jack Attack does walk out with his life. Rin Toyama, he was so casual throwing it out as well, with how Elise kind of flicks the hand. It's like, there, take your tear.
Flicks out the cocoon like that as well.
Yeah.
Honestly,
very casual champion.
Interesting way
for a
to
spider lady.
Throw something out that's honestly like going to secure someone's death. Just so casually.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like Spider-Man has to go for like a full with his hand out, like it's really intense.
That's because he designed his web canisters like that. But in any case, that's getting too far away from what we're really talking about.
Which is League of Legends.
The more important spider hero lady, Rin Toyama, 3 kills.
Hold on a tick though. Never mind those 3 kills.
Good flash.
Oh, nice flash. Yeah. 0-1. He still wants to commit the ultimate to it. Actually, the depth charge. Even though there's no follow-up, they know that Arc can't go any further through that. Chaos Storm nearly even died from it. And we did see Arcale doing a similar thing to Arc, beating him in the 1v1. So 0-1 this time doesn't quite seem to be able to get those ganks on Arcale.
That's what I like to call the rage ultimate, where you don't quite get your kill.
Damn it!
So you just throw it on out there. But it's key that he used it, because now he exerts much less pressure on all the other lanes, where Rin Toyama, we've been hyping him up so much, 3 kills, and now that 0-1 without an ultimate isn't going to be able to contest. He's going to get the Scuttle Crab, but has to really run away from Rin Toyama.
Oh, he missed the wall.
This is the wall.
Yeah, well, he gets the movement speed from the Scuttle Crab, though. He wasn't in any threat of dying, even though he missed that anchor toss to the wall, the dredge line. He's going to just go back into his jungle, and again, both teams taking a bit of a breezer, too easy with the lead. Only about 1k gold right now, but DNA, they do need to find a way to get themselves back on the board. Maybe that is the Dragon.
Bot lane surprisingly quiet for what we were talking about as a kill lane for Blinky and Cupcake with that Lucian Brown. And
just
here it is, Pixie!
Yeah, already a flash from I'm Tilting, but that's gone now. The stun was there, then the knock up, and they find I'm Tilting. Gold crucially going over to Blinky for that one. They're not going to be able to follow it up with much more in terms of turret pressure, but this could be a Dragon for themselves.
I feel like Dragon is a little bit of a risky pick because there's no vision deep in the enemy jungle, and the positioning from DNA was good enough for them to act on any Dragon
Can
attempt.
they even get anything from this? It looks like they're trying to go for the turret, but honestly, with Neptheus there, I don't know if they can actually siege this one out from underneath them, and you're right as well about the Dragon. There is still the vision controller now. 0-1 is already coming back in. In fact, by the time, they're going to commit. 0-1, he doesn't have his ult yet, but it is coming up pretty soon. Sheldor as well can almost commit a cannon barrage. This Dragon needs to die quickly, otherwise DNA can actually fight a fight, especially with the, oh no, the speed train just ran out.
No, they can't contest. They can't go for a steal because the 3-0 Elise brings so much execution damage that if you're going to go for a steal, you may as well go for a fight because you're never going to take that away from Elise. In any case, Ocean Drake going over to 2EZ, not the most important one for them to get. It's going to keep them topped up, but the key thing to note is the next one is an Inferno Drake, and with all the pick potential that they've got right now and the teamfight power that 2EZ won in the mid game, that one's key.
Ooh, Arc in so much trouble. He takes the claw out, but Arcale, he's got the move speed. He might want to look for a laser, but 0-1's here to turn it around. Arc took a little bit of an extra chunk, but Arcale now taking the damage. The depth charge is there, and with the cannon barrage running, he nearly snipes out Arc, but not quite, and Arcale drops down Sheldor, getting that with the last laugh of the cannon barrage. DNA finally put one back on the board.
Oh, good situational awareness by Arc there, knowing where his teammate is, really coming in to save the day.
He actually held on to his flash as well. That's really good by him.
Really key as well. Like, the communication between these players is very, very good right now. As you can see, he knew he could turn around, throw out his ultimate, and secure a kill instead of just getting away, making it an even trade. In any case, though, it's going to be one back on the table, but it's for the Gangplank.
And that is not a bad place to have it, all things considered. You know, I want to say this game is actually reminding me quite a lot of the first game where 2EZ started off quite strongly, had about this much of a gold lead and the kill lead as well. Also picked up a first dragon, and even though DNA lost it, they were still able to win team fights quite consistently. I feel like this team comp does that again. So DNA, they actually don't have to feel too bad about how this is going, even though they're struggling to find those early moves.
Something very important that they could do is they need to wrest control of the bottom lane. They've got a very strong synergistic duo. They've got a very fed Elise right now. If they move up, get deep vision like they're doing right now, they've got Rin Toyama poking around behind. Ooh. They're forcing them away from the tower. It's been spotted.
Yeah, he gets spotted by Ward. Both teleports being committed. Just the Ward going down there, and both also being cancelled. Neither Sheldon or Jack Attack wants to commit to that. I feel like that actually favors DNA here, because when that Cannon Barrage comes back up, Sheldon can still apply pressure to another lane, whereas Jack Attack now can't.
At the same time, though, Rin Toyama still in position to move up and get a little bit more vision, or more importantly, go for a dive.
He's still kind of looking for it, but 021 will be there this time for the answer. They want the dive. They're going to start committing to it. They've already gone deep. They might be able to get Untilting, but Rin Toyama's been dredged out from it. The Wish saves Untilting. They do finally get the kill, but Blinky's stunned up under the turret, and this is almost going to go in favor of DNA if they can close it out on Blinky, but they don't have the depth charge just yet. 021, though, he's holding on to Flash. I think he's going to Flash depth charge. There's no reason not to. What's he going to do? Never mind that. Let's take a look at top lane. There he goes in for Cupcake, and the ace in the hole gets body blocked out. 021 does not quite want to commit the depth charge. I think it only just came up, actually. Did not commit the flash either. It's a 1-for-1, but there's good news, given that that was 2Easy's play they set up.
And Rin Toyama are actually trying the interesting... Whoa,
whoa,
what's going on here?
Whoa! Guess who's trying something even more interesting is Arcale, keeping up the pressure on Arc, who's forced to blow the flash this time. That's got to hurt.
Both ultimates actually used by the mid laners there, which means it's honestly going to be who can put out more pressure. But look who's coming in behind. 0-1.
Yeah, well, how many times have we seen this before? And it always seems to be Arcale, and he gets the catch with the anchor. Arcale, though, he's going to be able to walk out because 0-1 out of mana, Arc out of health.
Up in the top lane, though.
Whoa! Sheldor! What are you doing, buddy?
I don't think he's all right.
So.
I think he's quite all right. Jack Attack, though, getting a solo kill on a gangplank is very good for a Maokai.
Rin Toyama now setting up a dive. 0-1. Suddenly didn't look all that tanky at all against the Elise. He knows that he can't quite commit to it, though, given that Arcale does not have a Flash, Ghost, or Ultimate to commit to that fight. Only had the laser that he could do safely from a range, and they are still respecting the turret. That being said, Rin Toyama making good use of the pressure he gets.
Both teams still actually yet to pick up the initial demolition goal of that first tower.
Well, here it is.
Here it is, though. It's going to go straight over to 2Easy. The local goal is going to be shared between Jack Attack and Rin Toyama, which I think is smart enough. Jack Attack's playing a solo laner that isn't so important to get a whole lot of gold on, so handing some over to someone who's already quite fed, very important. But Rift Herald.
Yeah, I like this pickup as well, handing that one over to Jack Attack. And a good rotation by them as well, because there's really no way for DNA to not contest or answer this. Yeah, they have no idea it's happening. And Jack Attack is going to be able to bring that back to lane, exert a lot of pressure onto Sheldor, who is now missing a turret. So suddenly they have to keep in mind that Jack Attack can split push all game long.
And of course, with Rin Toyama always sitting in the wings, look at the vision that they got in the top side jungle as well. I feel like we're going to see Rin Toyama move on up to the top lane where Sheldor has no flash. There's a huge amount of vision already there for 2Easy. They can secure a kill over and over if they continue to do that.
And we actually touched it in Champ Select. They were willing to leave the gangplank up for Sheldor. I said they surely must have a plan. Well, this looks like the plan.
And a great thing about focusing a gangplank is that quite often, Sheldor is going to have to use his ultimate on himself, rather than assist the other lanes.
Takes the pressure off.
Yeah, it's the best thing about focusing a gangplank. We can see Rin Toyama, he's still hanging around that side of the map. Should be handing over the blue buff to his mid laner. 0-1 though, reacting appropriately, getting some, at least some control in the bottom lane.
With the roam down from Arc as well. Oh, just barely went wide on Cupcake, and Cupcake and Blinky smartly back out. Arc didn't quite commit too much to that as well, so he's going to be able to return to lane.
Sheldor, despite Rin Toyama being in the base, he doesn't know where he is. So Sheldor is going to have to be playing very carefully. I mean, have a look at the gold advantage. It was pretty high for Jack Attack above Sheldor, but the key thing is the gold difference for the junglers. Obviously, Rin Toyama, we've been so excited to talk about him.
Yeah.
He does so much damage, he has so much gold. But Inferno Drake, you can't spend time up in top lane when this bad boy's in the arena.
Sheldor with that ultimate available means that DNA do have a bit of pressure they can exert over it.
0-1's ready. He's ready to go. He's waiting for the ready check.
Team. And actually, what he's waiting for is for Arc to come back. And unfortunately, he's not there, which means Arcale is going to find him. But Arcale can't stay too long because 021 can kind of keep him crowd controlled up. He throws out the depth charge, but RKL around the wall. He can't get follow up upon.
He gets the hook!
Oh, but Rintoyama's going to come in from behind. They've committed the gangplank gold for it, though. Maybe RKL drops down. Instead, they're turning with Rintoyama. Now he's in trouble.
Good repel.
Rintoyama, nice repel. Yeah, now Ark is the one in trouble. DNA, they can't quite find it. Neptius has found Rintoyama as he collapses in the fight. And now Ark dropping down, goes down to the Braum actually, and now it's too easy trying to exert the pressure on the fight if they can. They're brought down Sheldor from the top lane. He can't get barrels down in time, and Jag Attack's too tanky. They pick up Sheldor. Now they're looking for I'm Tilting, forced to flash away. Looks like he'll get out with his life. Nepti is still quite healthy, but the only damage really left there for DNA. Too easy. They're just barely keeping themselves alive, and that is keeping the fights in their favor.
They've got Nephthys alive to go for the wave clear, but they just can't place him there safely.
It's not safe, yeah.
Jak Attack, he almost has his flash up, but he can still just jump straight onto Nephthys. Now, with that turret down, they're able to move down, leave a whole lot of vision, clear the enemy vision. Make sure you get that pink ward, boys.
There you go, finish
there
we
go.
And
Inferno Drake.
Yeah, that's super crucial. Rintoyama also back up. Means he's going to be able to get into that pit with the repel. Really, really nice for him. And DNA, they can't quite collapse on this. And also now
They're
don't
gonna
have
try.
the cannon barrage to commit. Yeah, I don't think they could really do it. I think the only way it could have happened is if Nepthius channeled his ultimate on someone. Could Dragon body block it?
No.
Would have been an accident if it happened anyway. But yeah, no, it can't even happen. So no real way to contest it. Too easy. Picking the second Drake up and putting themselves even further ahead now. About 4.5k.
Yeah, and that's actually a significant gold lead with the two dragons as well. Having Inferno Drake with that gold lead means they're doing exactly what they need to do. When we were in Champion Select, Raven was telling us the win condition is that they've got to do the skirmishes in the mid-game, where Lucian is the strongest, the Maokai brings a lot of damage reduction to the table, and fighting those choke points, which they've been doing. So again, it's a case of Too Easy knowing their win condition and executing on it.
We even saw that in the last fight. Jak Attack, to be frank, he was just too tanky for DNA to deal with. Sheldor, he will bring a lot of damage to the table. He does now have that Trinity Force, but he's not quite bringing it just yet. At least not in a way that can kill Jak Attack. So DNA, they really just need to stay alive and navigate through this mid-game without losing too much before they can really start taking it back to Too Easy.
DNA do still have the options to prevent Too Easy's win conditions, right? Which is sit underneath your tower, wave clear up to safety until you hit that late game. They do have Gangplank and Caitlyn, two very great late game carries when you compare them to their opponents, the Maokai and the Lucian. Two very good, strong champions in the mid-game right now. If they can survive for now until Caitlyn and Gangplank get that massive power spike later in the game, they should be all good.
Oh, Ark kind of wanted to commit to that one, but with the claw down, Cupcake is going to come on in and abuse that. The Glacial Tomb is there, but RKL and Cupcake are ready for it when he comes back out. They throw it in the Chaos Storm, but here's 021 just to ward them off. They do get Ark out alive, forced to blow a flash to that. Smart move by Cupcake, though, committing once the claw had been used up.
Now, this turret surely under threat of going down on the bottom lane. Blinky's there to wave clear up, and it might actually be enough.
Yeah, it is. He didn't actually get the culling to commit, but he just had enough damage there. Now Rintoyama's here, throws out the Proto Belt, doesn't get anything with that, nor with the stun. Now 021 here to maybe commit to a fight, but they might get committed on because the mid lane roamed down. Now 021's actually getting bursted down. I'm Tilting can't save him. They got Ark here. Oh, they do find nearly Rintoyama. They get Cupcake, crucially. I don't think they can find anything more here. Rintoyama, ooh, he needs to back away, but that it was a really nice cannon barrage out of Sheldor.
And Jak Attack doing a great job during that fight, keeping Sheldor really, really under control. We saw that Gangplank ultimate it came into that fight very, very late, and now that it's down, he doesn't have to protect himself against the 1v1 potential of Jak Attack. He knows these tanks incredibly well.
Sheldor forced to back out of that lane for now, but that Trinity Force really starting to show for him, able to help turn around that fight. Ark without that Glacial Tomb still did work, so Too Easy. They do still need to, they still need to respect the team fight from DNA. Like I said, this looks a lot like the first game. I do feel like Too Easy.
Someone recalling an award.
Yeah, ooh, he does get out. I feel like Too Easy have a stronger team fight this time than they did in the first game, but DNA, this is how they can win, is with those team fights.
Of course, it's always going to go straight into their favor. We talked about the win condition of Too Easy. They're slipping a little bit further away from the mid-game, but they've got the early game advantage that we were talking about. In fact, Jak Attack even has the Guardian Angel, but who cares about all that?
That's the way to go for it. Blinky just going to commit. He didn't even want to kill. He just wanted to zone off Neptius with that wave clear so that they can take down this turret and even up the turret score again. They lost theirs, so they're going to take DNA's.
Jak Attack, come on, mate. Give him a break. Let him have his own red buff.
Sheldor is going to be able to secure that one for himself. Returns to that top lane, nearly as the cannon barrage available, and It's a good thing he's a pirate because Sheldor looks very marooned up here. He's not really getting any support, and he can't really hurt Jack Attack.
Oh,
hold on.
There's the dredge
Hold
line.
on, no, they're committing to it. I thought it was just going to be 0-2-1, Trent and love taps, but no, Ark's committed, but he's over-committed because Arkela's there with the response. He's forcing Glacial Tomb himself, but that could be all they need. I'm tilting, he's going to be able to top but they don't have any more damage. Nephtheus, he's only just arrived to the fight. 0-2-1, he still lives, but with Jack Attack here, Nephtheus can't get in time. Nephtheus was not there to commit with his team, and Too Easy had the members. Rin Toyama did only just barely scrape away, but every time he scrapes away with his life, it ends up being in favor of Too Easy because they are getting kills.
Still managing to keep the gold lead a little bit the same, right? It's only 4,000 gold, 5,000 gold almost right now, which was pretty much the same 5 minutes ago. So DNA are losing, but they're not losing by any more than they were before. So they can hold on to this, and like I said, their win condition is surviving until the late game. Gangplank, Caitlyn brings so much to the late game, and right now, it's Blinky, it's Jack Attack that brings so much. Caitlyn, 2 items through, still needs about 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, that 2-item spike, quite crucial, and like I said, needing that 1 or 2 more. So they're going to need to find a way to unlock those resources.
Those resources are going to be, well, getting a whole lot more gold, but the vision as well is going to be key. Those turrets are still standing. Only one of them has actually been taken down.
Yeah, it's where they can certainly get the gold for Nephtheus to round out those items, because like I said, they need that to come online fairly quickly if they can help it. That being said, Too Easy, they're making it as hard as possible for DNA to rotate and get the turrets.
Yeah, well, honestly, right now, when you've got the threat of a terrifying team fight composition, particularly with Jack Attack keeping Sheldor locked up in the top lane, it's very hard to rotate, but they still have the option to keep wards in their own jungle, which they have been doing so far, but Too Easy are able to slip in, get a ward here and there. DNA need to get on top of clearing those wards out, which is exactly what they're doing right now, rotating with the jungler and the support. Not enough.
He is quite tanky though, so he'll take a while to die, but if he's stunned up, he can't do much. The rest of the team here is there to help him out with the counter barrage plus that Glacial Tomb. It's hard to find on top of that, but they do find 0-2-1 at last. Jack Attack is just so deep, wasting the time of DNA's back line, even starting to exert pressure. They just got another. They might even find Nephtheus. They want to commit. Jack Attack is looking for it. Can he find it? There's the laser there. They can't quite get him. Meanwhile, Blinky does find Sheldor. Nephtheus now the only one left alive. And now we're starting to see it. DNA, they can't win these fights anymore. They are starting to lose them out to Too Easy.
What's the option that they take from that team fight? Of course, we can see Rin Toyama slowly taking down that Infernal Drake. He will get it, of course, no contest. But right now, Too Easy, a little bit split up. Not exactly sure what objective they want to take. They're looking at their bottom lane turret. Nephtheus a little bit too scared to go and defend it. But it was from full health. They're going to be able to take it down with that big minion wave they had. The Inferno Drake's going to be on top of that. That's 2 Inferno Drakes.
And they might even be able to rotate into mid lane if they so choose. In any case, Too Easy. They are the ones who get to dictate the pace of the game now. And like I said, DNA, they can't just win team fights anymore. And it is going to be surviving until they can start winning them again.
And remember back just after Champion Select when Raven told us the win condition, it was using that Lucian, but also using the gold advantage to snowball their tanks to be unkillable.
Yeah,
and speaking of unkillable, yes, Jack Attack has a Guardian Angel. Rin Toyama just picked that one up, and I think that's really smart because he's always in the front line.
Yeah.
And now if he gets focused down, it's not such a huge deal.
No, 0-2-1. He can't dredge line to safety there. He was just trying to ward, but Jack Attack and Blinky, they had the damage there. They're trying to keep them alive.
Blinky!
Oh, Blinky overcommits. Didn't have the follow-up, and 0-2-1 walks out with his life. Now can they find Jack Attack? I don't think they can. They do find Arc in response, and here's going to be the full response now from Too Easy as a whole. I'm tilting, running away for dear life. Does get out. And I wanted to say Jack Attack, he's able to waste the entire time with DNA's backline, and here it is again. Sheldor, the one to get focused on Nephtheus, he's trying to throw down damage, but he can't even kill Jack Attack, let alone the backline. Isn't DNA, having just lost all control over the mid parts of this map.
DNA still have their wave clear though. Nephtheus is alive, he's got bodyguards with 0-2-1, so they can defend the turrets, particularly the inhibitor turrets if they go to the bottom lane. These inner turrets should be safe enough to defend, but what Too Easy can do is put on a 2-threat front. There's the top lane, but the minions are a little bit too far away. The best option for them right now is to litter the top side of the jungle with wards, clear out enemy vision, and that's exactly what they're doing. And are they being a little bit cheeky here, Pixie?
I think they are. I do like how they're trying to set up for this siege, though, right? They're just trying to hold on to the element of surprise so that they can wait for DNA to overcommit to one lane and then move to another. They don't actually have the wave in their favor, but they can at least find picks. There is a good ward here.
It's a good ward. But honestly, DNA, they need to move completely as a group if they don't want to get cheesed out by that.
It's not cheesy, it's just a good
It's
bait,
not cheesy, it's not cheesy.
They don't
But
want to
he's
get
walking
caught
into
out.
it.
Ooh,
Ooh.
just barely backs off. I'm tilting. Not quite going to overcommit. Yeah, if they don't want to get caught out, they do need to move as a unit. And I'm tilting now. He's nearly learned that firsthand. Sheldor as well. He's now aware. I need to move with my team. Now starting to group the team up. Ark a long way away is now finally recalling.
Oh, he's still sitting there. But
it puts a hold on the pressure.
What this does is it puts a time limit on Too Easy right now. They have to act, or Ark is just simply going to get a tower for free. Jack Attack actually going for the recall. DNA are ready to defend this turret. They have the wave clear. Nephthys has to be in a good position to defend it. They don't have the numbers though, because O21 is completely on the other side of the map.
And Jack Attack, like you said, he does go ahead and react before the tower gets blown into fractions. Tried to get like a bit of internal rhyme there. Didn't quite work out. In any case, DNA, they did not get the answer for that top lane turret Too Easy. They widened the gold lead even further.
So not only do they take a trade where they get a huge advantage with the turret just being taken completely for free, they also dropped a huge amount of vision down in the top lane, in the top side of the map, which is going to be key around the time of the Baron. And they know their time is running out. They know that they're losing their mid-game advantage as they get closer and closer to the late game. Caitlyn still yet to pick up her third item, but when she does, Nephthys is going to put out a huge amount of damage.
That's really something DNA have to rely on here. They're nearly at that point. We'll be able to start taking it to Cupcake and Jack Attack. Ooh. Jack Attack, who's been so key in these fights lately as well, dealing with all of DNA's backline, stopping them from dealing the damage they want. Yeah, ooh, indeed, Too Easy, starting to get control over this Baron.
I love the positioning up because Jack Attack, he's all the way down on the bottom lane. He knows this is, again, putting a time limit, but on DNA this time. Blinky, just before another fight breaks out, I need to point out, he's got a QSS. He's ready to clear any crowd control that comes onto him. Particularly, we've seen so much from Ark, targeting Blinky very hard, but tilting!
Yeah, the Q goes wide from the Brom. There's going to be the cannon barrage to make sure there's no more follow-up, but that's now down for any fight in those choke points. That's really, really crucial.
They've brought Jack Attack on over, so don't want to leverage that teleport advantage. But honestly, they've already started the Baron. They know Cannon Barrage is down. They can see
Sheldor's miles away.
On the other side of the map. They're at least going to force a teleport. But they'd have to go in blind. DNA don't have a clue.
Yeah, they are not willing to do that. It does mean giving up the Baron, but if they went in, they could have lost their Baron and their lives. DNA, they're struggling to find their way in this game now as the Baron goes over to Too Easy.
And this is going to be where it is make or break for DNA. If they can survive the Baron siege, then surely they can survive into the late game. Baron lasts a few minutes, so that should be long enough for Nephthys to come online. But look at this, Baroned up minions, huge amount of damage to that. Rin Toyama zoning the entire enemy team. Turret, it's demolished.
Even with the wave clear out of Nephthys, the wave clear from Arcale is doing enough work to give Too Easy the time in these turrets. They are going to back off for now. I think they want to set up a couple of waves pushing in their favor so they can maybe even 1-3-1. But in any case, Too Easy willing to back away for now with that gold lead. They want to take this one nice and slow. Like you said, a lot on the line here. This has been the story of this game as a whole, Too Easy. I said it was a lot like the first game, but unlike the first game, they played it a lot more cautious. They're not letting DNA get back into this game.
Remember, we are at one aside here right now. The winner of this game takes out the 2-1 victory, gaining 3 points, while the loser is sent home with only 1 point to come out of this. So a lot is on the line right now for both teams. Too Easy, just need to stay cool, calm, and collected. Dragon coming up in 6 seconds. It's just an Ocean Drake, but it might be the regeneration they need to put a siege down with this Baron buff.
Yeah, that it is, and in any case, it is the last Dragon, so DNA are going to have absolutely none available to them if an Elder Drake even comes up in this game. So Too Easy, they're just making sure DNA can't find anything. Like I said, they're not letting them get back into this game. What do DNA need to do, though?
It's the same story it's been all game. Survive until that late game. They have the wave clear to do it. Getting caught out here, Rin Toyama.
Yeah, he's got a GA though, but Sheldor's committing. There's going to be the repel just to get behind the door of Cupcake, rather, just Cupcake.
Nephthys only just arriving back to the base. That was their wave clear. Look at this turret. It's
already
really
low.
Fast.
They can't do it. Oh, but Arcale's taking too much damage. He has to flash out of the fight. That means he can't commit. There's going to be an ult on him as well from O21, but now Ark is stuck in the middle of this fight. The health bars are low, but Too Easy have survived the burst. But now they might be able to get the cleanup. Blinky's gone deep for Ark at the same time, though. This is so back and forth because so many people are low. Neither team seems able to close it out, but there's Blinky. Still plenty of health. Still plenty of damage getting the double kill. Now he's going to
get the turret. He needs to back right away, though, lest anyone else come and take his life. Or does he want to commit to the inhibitor? Too easy. They're playing this one very dangerous. Sheldor's barrels still do a lot of damage.
There's no arc. There's no 0-2-1. That's a huge lack of crowd control for DNA. Very easy for Blinky to stop, to prevent himself getting caught out. Now they can move around using the Baron.
They're going to keep it going.
Keep taking down more turrets. That's one inhibitor down already. A second one is soon to follow.
If they get a pick, they can actually close it out right now with those 2 inhibitors down. They've got the waves pushing in their favor. They're going to back off, though. They don't quite want to overcommit as 0-2-1 and Arc are coming back up, but Too Easy, they're really starving DNA out now. DNA, they barely even made a slip up. It was just that they couldn't close out the kills in that fight.
And have a look at the map, of course, being locked in their base. They can't get outside to get vision. There's a single ward, sorry, make that 2 wards outside their base where they have any vision at all. It's going to line up Too Easy very, very easily. What are you doing there, Arc? No, okay, it's trying to find a kill.
Just
but
chilling.
There's a lot of minions. But the key thing is, 1 inhibitor left. All Too Easy need to do is just siege down that. They've still got maybe a minute left of the Baron buff. It might run out by now, who knows. But in any case, they can siege down the top lane while the super minions do the work in the other 2 lanes.
Yeah, they've got time on their side, and they cannot even be poked out here. Like we said before, the Victor right now out wave clearing the Caitlyn by a considerable amount. And there's already a good item advantage as well for Jack Attack.
Yeah, the key item advantage right now for Too Easy is the double Guardian Angel, which you can have a look down there now. They're still ready to go. I don't think I've actually seen them proc. Maybe once. But in any case, it essentially makes it 7 lives against 5 lives for Too Easy. They're already winning the fights without using those Guardian Angels. A good line of defensive traps coming out, but DNA, they need to wave clear like their lives depend on it.
Just drenched in without catching anyone, and he's already dead! They burst down the only good tank here. They aren't quite able to commit with the cannon barrage there, but like you said, they have time on their side. They're just going to wait for this wave to arrive with the super minions already in the other 2 lanes.
40 seconds until 0-2-1 comes back up. That is plenty of time for these super minions to come in, put pressure on the Nexus turret, and importantly, draw people away from the very last inhibitor right here. Too Easy have got a very easy path to victory right now.
They can't let anyone die, but Arc gets caught up by a snare. That could be it for him because he eats so much culling. There's forced to use a lot of heal, but they've zoned them off this last standing inhibitor. This is almost impossible to come back from as it is, and Too Easy already have the number advantage. 0-2-1, he is about to come back up, but it looks like Too Easy, they're just going to go ahead and commit to it with the super minions there. But they've also, for sure, got the damage. They have an Infernal Drake in their pocket. If they want to fight, Arc goes in. He's trying to buy time. They're looking for Jack Attack, who's taking up 2 turrets. He gets dragged in, but the cleanser's there and the heal. He's able to stay alive as they get the first turret down, and now, Too Easy, they can turn the fight back around. They need to just get 1 pick. That's all they need, and they can't afford to let anyone die, though. Oh, this is on such a knife's edge. They're going to back out? Yes, they are. Too Easy. They're going to back out now, come back 1 last time to close it out.
And DNA, importantly, cannot chase. And even more importantly, they can't leave their base for, what, about 5 minutes now? Because an inhibitor is down in every single lane. Double super creeps in every single lane. Baron's coming up in a minute. The Elder Dragon is going to be up in just a little bit longer. Those are key objectives. If Too Easy don't want to go for the kill right away, they can wait for those.
That they can, and honestly for DNA, it feels a bit like it's all over, but the crying, no inhibitors left. A single turret between them and only a 1-point gain in the overall standings. Too Easy, able to turn it back in their favor in this last game. Now they're just looking to close it out, playing nice and slow, taking all the possible gold off the map.
So key that they are just draining all the resources away from DNA, not letting them get vision, not letting them get gold from their own jungle, and honestly, just moving around the map, making sure they've got vision for the next key objective. Even though it's pretty much guaranteed for them, they're ready to go.
Yeah, even if DNA pull out a miracle and win a fight, there's going to be nothing for them to gain. The Baron is going to come up in just over 10 seconds. Too Easy are going to go ahead and pick that one up. They might even pick up an Elder Drake as well. Not that they really need it, but like I said, even if DNA pull out a miracle, it's going to be so hard for them to still come back in this game because there's going to be nothing for them to take.
At this point, they've got a single turret down. DNA need to win, what, 5, 6 fights in a row to actually take a victory here? That's going to be a daunting premise right now for DNA. Their morale has to be as high as it possibly can be at this point. They need to keep their spirits high if they are hoping to bring out a victory here. But honestly, it's very
looking
rare.
ropey, yeah.
It's looking grim. This could be the final moments, Pixie.
Stranger things have happened. DNA could still pull it out, but like you said, it's not looking good for them as Too Easy. They come on into the base, and they are looking indomitable with that Baron buff, with 2 super minions per lane, per wave. Already the turret taking damage from just them. There goes the cannon barrage to start it off. Jack Attack, he commits just to waste the time of DNA. If they can't kill the super minions, they can't get the turret alive. Jack Attack, he doesn't even mind if he dies. They find out something to start it off. And now they find 021, the tankiest member there. Jack Attack, he finally falls, but it's not even going to matter. He did everything he needed to do. Comes back up with the GA, and with an exposed Nexus, DNA last ditch in with Arc. They can't find it. A triple kill for Blinky, and it's going to be the Nexus to close it out. Right after they give 2 over to Arcale and Too Easy. They won 1, they lost 1, but in the end, they walk away with the 2-1 win and the 3 points.
And that's going to be huge. They're going to be the second team to actually come out with a 2-1 victory. We still haven't had any 2-0s yet. It's only the second night, but honestly, the competition feels so close right now. The story of that game, though, had to be started by Raven, actually, in the Champions Select. Win fights in mid-game, make your tanks unkillable, and make Blinky a monster.
Yeah, and they really hurt Sheldor up in that lane. They did not give him a chance to get as big as he needed to be to steer his team through that mid-game. There was really just no way for DNA to get their feet in that one, unfortunately for them. So it is going to be Too Easy taking out the 2-1 in a very tight series. We still have one more night of games this week on Wednesday, where we will be live on Sky Sport. And that will be the Villains taking on Decode Esports. So let's also take a look at what we're going to be seeing next week.
So next week we've got another set of 3 games on the Wednesday night, of course. Like you mentioned, in the Hexadome live on Sky Sport 3, the returning champions, the Villains, taking on Decode Esports. Then again on Saturday, it's going to be Villains once again. They'll be taking on Too Easy. And then on the next night, on Sunday night, it's going to be Tiger Eye taking on Decode Esports. And once again, on the Wednesday night, we'll be back on Sky Sport 3 with the players here in the Hexadome. It's going to be...
Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out later.
We'll find out on the weekend. So yeah, the Villains going to be coming up again on the Wednesday, and then after that they'll be taking on tonight's victors, Too Easy. So in a few days' time, we're going to have a bit more of an idea of where these teams stack up against one another. That being said, from the 4 we have seen out of 6 so far, it has already been very close, very tight competition. Tonight it was Too Easy taking away the 2-1 win, scoring themselves the points. Do we have any final thoughts on how that went?
Honestly, if I was excited last night for the results of those games, tonight has made me even more excited for Wednesday night. Honestly,
I cannot wait.
I can't wait either. These games have been incredible. It's so good to see New Zealand esports just at its peak right now. It's the best it's ever been.
And we are going to be joining you on that Wednesday, again, live from the Hexadome. But for tonight, that is going to be it from us here at the NZGC. Thank you so much for tuning in to these fantastic games. And from all of us here at the production team, have a wonderful night.
The NZGC is a production of Let's Play Live. And brought to you by Logitech G, Twitch, Playtech, Adina Hotel, and all our fantastic technology and media partners.